Princess Lyra of the Velkan Empire had witnessed the fall of 17 star systems to human forces, yet nothing had prepared her for standing face to face with one of their warriors. The human woman before her stood barely 6 feet tall, unremarkable by Velkan standards, yet every instinct screamed danger. Commander Rebecca Torres wore standard Earth Defense Force armor, scarred from countless battles across the galaxy. Her brown eyes held a calculating intelligence that made Lyra's crystalline blue skin shimmer with involuntary fear responses. The princess forced her breathing to steady, calling upon decades of diplomatic training. "Your Highness," Rebecca said, her voice carrying that distinctive human quality, neither the melodic tones of the Velkans nor the harmonic frequencies of other civilized species. It was blunt, direct, unsettling. "My government has sent me to discuss terms." The throne room of the flagship Celestial Dawn stretched 300 meters in length, its walls embedded with rare minerals from 12 conquered worlds. 10,000 Velkan nobles filled the chamber, their bioluminescent markings pulsing in synchronized patterns of anxiety. Yet somehow, this single human dominated the space. "Commander Torres," Lyra replied, proud that her voice remained level, despite the tremor in her delicate hands. "The Velkan Empire does not negotiate with primitives who have barely achieved faster-than-light travel." Rebecca's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes that made Lyra step backward. Despite herself, the human had arrived alone on a simple shuttle, refusing escort, walking through corridors lined with the Empire's finest guards as if strolling through a garden. "Primitives," Rebecca repeated, tilting her head. "Is that what you called the Xerion Collective before we broke their siege of your mining colonies? Or the Hive Queen before we prevented her swarms from consuming your agricultural worlds?" The princess felt heat rise in her cheeks, causing her natural luminescence to flicker erratically. Those victories had been credited to Velkan tactical superiority in all official reports, but she knew the truth. Humanity had intervened in both conflicts, turning certain defeats into stunning victories. "Those were isolated incidents," Lyra said, though her voice lacked conviction. "Lucky strikes against enemies already weakened by our forces." Rebecca's smile was predatory. "Your tactical assessments are interesting, Princess. Tell me, how do your strategists explain the Battle of Proxima Vale? 3 Velkan dreadnoughts against a single human destroyer. I believe the official report claimed unprecedented solar flare activity caused your ships to malfunction simultaneously." The memory made Lyra's stomach clench. She had been aboard the flagship Eternal Glory when that lone human vessel had somehow disabled their entire battle group without firing a single weapon. The destroyer's captain had simply transmitted shield harmonics that cascaded through their defensive systems, leaving them helpless until the humans chose to withdraw. "Solar storms are unpredictable," Lyra managed, but even she could hear how hollow the words sounded. "Of course they are." Rebecca took a step forward, and Lyra fought every instinct telling her to retreat. "Just like the equipment failures that grounded your atmospheric fighters during the Titan Rebellion, or the navigation errors that left your supply convoys stranded in dead space while human ships somehow found safe passage through the same routes." Around them, the assembled nobles shifted restlessly. Their harmonic whispers created an undercurrent of growing unease. Many were learning these details for the first time, their faith in Velkan superiority cracking like thin ice. "What do you want?" Lyra demanded, abandoning diplomatic pretense. Her royal conditioning warred with growing dread as she began to comprehend the scope of human capabilities. "Nothing you haven't already lost," Rebecca replied. "Your empire spans 200 systems, controls the trade routes between 6 major powers, commands fleets that have crushed dozens of species. Yet here I stand, one human among 10,000 Velkans, and you're afraid." The accusation hit like a physical blow. Lyra's bioluminescent markings flared bright blue, betraying her emotional state to everyone present. "The Velkan Empire fears nothing." "Then why are your hands shaking?" Lyra looked down in horror. Her delicate fingers trembled despite every effort to control them. The human's presence seemed to fill the vast chamber, pressing against her consciousness like a weight. She couldn't escape. "You want to know what we want?" Rebecca continued, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. We want you to stop pretending you're our equals. We want you to acknowledge that humanity has been protecting you for the past 3 years, while you took credit for our work. We want honest trade agreements, not the condescending charity you've been offering. The princess's mind raced through recent history, seeing patterns she had been trained to ignore. Every major Velkan victory coincided with mysterious human ship movements. Every crisis resolved just as human vessels appeared in nearby systems. Every enemy that threatened the Empire somehow developed technical problems or strategic blindness at crucial moments. You've been manipulating us, she whispered. We've been saving you, Rebecca corrected. The Xerian Collective was 3 days from breaching your homeworld's orbital defenses when we intervened. The Hive Queen had already seeded 12 of your agricultural worlds before we developed the pheromone suppressants that turned her swarms against each other. Your people would have been extinct twice over without human intervention. Lyra's legs nearly gave out. The implications crashed over her like a tidal wave of revelation. The mighty Velkan Empire, terror of the outer systems, conqueror of worlds, was nothing more than a client state under human protection. Why? She managed to ask. Why protect us if we're so inferior? Rebecca's expression softened slightly. Because strength without wisdom leads to extinction. Because even apex predators need ecosystems to survive. Because sometimes the best way to prevent galactic war is to ensure that everyone believes someone else is the greatest threat. Understanding dawned like a cold star. Humanity didn't want to rule the galaxy. They wanted everyone else to believe the Velkans were the dominant power, while humans operated from the shadows, preventing conflicts that could destabilize entire sectors. What happens now? Lyra asked, her voice barely audible. Now you have a choice, Rebecca said. Continue the pretense, accept human guidance, and maintain your empire's facade of supremacy. Or refuse, and watch how quickly your enemies realize you've been running on borrowed power. Princess Lyra stood before the human warrior, no longer trying to hide her fear. In this moment, she finally understood the true hierarchy of galactic civilization. The revelation was terrifying, humbling, and somehow liberating all at once. She had expected to negotiate with a primitive species seeking favor. Instead, she found herself a student before a master, learning just how much she had yet to comprehend about the galaxy's true power structures.